Let's go back to the beginning. How did you become such a prominent YouTube royal commentator? What was it that got you going? Were you a royal fan?
What if I told you that Prince Harry could be on the verge of losing everything? His family, his home, and even his children. Dina, a vocal royal commentator, claims Meghan Markle's plans could lead to an international custody battle. Is this the final chapter in the Sussex saga, or just the beginning of a legal war that could rock the royal world? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for updates on this royal drama.
Before Harry and Meghan, or was it her entry
Yes.
into the royal family that got you excited?
Well, actually, both. When I was 12 years old, I had a fascination with Princess Diana. She was
Yeah, me
everything
too.
to me. I
Me
remember
too.
waking up as a 12-year-old girl, watching the wedding, getting up at 5 in the morning, and I was so excited. And I followed her life. And she just had this big influence on me because she was such a good person. And I admired her. And when she passed away, I was actually living in the UK at the time. And I just kind of, fell off of the royal train and was just kind of seeing things in passing, like I believe most Americans do, not all, but a lot of them. And then when Meghan came into the family, I'm like kind of, oh, this is who is she? Oh, she's a woman of color, really? You could have fooled me. She didn't look like she was, but okay. I'm looking, I'm interested. And then there are these things about her being the next Diana. I'm like, well, if she's going to be the next so-called Diana, I have to really check her out. And that's what I did. And things
But
just
you were
weren't adding
open to
up.
her initially? You were.
Absolutely. Because, I'm okay, because things had died down and I was just like, okay, this is a new era. Let's see what she's all about. And things just weren't adding up. I mean, I wanted to support Meghan. I really did. As a woman of color, seeing someone like her marry into the royal family, that's a good thing because you're getting diversity. You're getting someone that kind of is, like me, at least her mother. And, why not? But then you start seeing things and you start thinking, wait a minute, are there young girls who are persuaded and look up to Meghan like I did with Princess Diana? And I'm watching the way Meghan is behaving and how she's treating the family. And I'm thinking, this is not good. And the reason why, Dan, I'm so committed to this is because, like I mentioned before, I run a charity where I help young people with life skills and thinking, how could a young person fall into the trap? And I look at it as a trap of someone like a Meghan Markle because she's doing all the things I teach the kids not to do. Respect your elders, how to resolve conflict. If you're having conflict in the family, you don't ghost people. You don't act like they don't exist and ignore them. You certainly don't treat the Queen of England the way you did. You don't talk about your family. I mean, they've done all the things that I'm trying to
Yeah.
help young people understand and to not do.
Not.
Dina has been following this drama from the start and she's not holding back. She revealed that Meghan may have been strategizing for an exit long before Megxit. Meghan knew that life as a working royal wasn't for her, the strict rules and lack of financial independence. Allegedly, she played the long game, setting the stage for a dramatic departure. Here's where things get messy. If Meghan and Harry do split, Harry could face a brutal custody battle. Meghan and the children are US residents, which means custody laws could favor her. Harry may be unprepared for what's coming. Imagine Harry, alone in California, fighting just to see his children.
And okay, so you say as a woman of color you were, I guess, interested in Meghan because she was too. How similar is your background to hers? Are you mixed race or what's your
Right.
makeup?
My mother is mixed. Well, her father was mixed. So I have white and black, but my parents are both black, but my mom is very light. She actually looks a lot, I guess, whiter than Harry. I mean, she's very white looking in complexion. So, but I have mixed heritage. I have, my son is mixed. My husband is Caucasian. So, I can
So there were
identify.
there were parallels, P. Dina, right? There were
Absolutely,
parallels
absolutely.
between you and Meghan.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and so what was it? What was the turning point? What was the moment where you thought, "Oh, something isn't right here. Something isn't feeling good for me here."
Well, actually, Dan, it was the day of the wedding when she
Oh,
came in
okay.
that white dress and the veil. I just felt like this was a show. This was a performance. This is a woman who is remarrying. She didn't seem to, and then also how she treated her father. How I felt like she wasn't trying to really accommodate her father to really have that relationship with him, to be a part of this. There was no tribute to him for not being able to attend because of a heart attack. That wedding for me it was not what it appeared to be. I myself am an actor. I have a lot of things to bring me to a lot of memories that I see in Megan and her as an actress. There's a lot of
So
things
what?
that
So
we
you think she was
do.
acting at her own wedding?
Absolutely.
It was
She
a
was
performance.
acting. It was a performance because she wanted to be that Diana moment. For her, it was, I'm performing, I'm coming to the world. You're getting introduced to me, the great new Diana of the royal family. I mean, if you think about it, if she was really there to marry this man and was a little bit more humble and modest, would she have worn a veil with that long train and that white dress? Wouldn't you have toned it down a little bit to be more in line with, this is your second marriage, some say even third? So it just did not add up to
Well,
me.
yes,
And
and
women
remember,
are
P.
good at
Dina, I
this.
had actually reported.
Meghan's alleged strategy, documenting everything. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Dina suggests that Meghan might have been documenting their relationship all along. Reports claim she could have video diaries, messages, and other evidence ready to use if a divorce battle happens.
Hmm.
And I only got this reporting after the wedding, because before the wedding there was a real lockdown, and people within the royal family really wanted to support Meghan. But it was after the wedding, and I broke the story of Tiaragate. But one of the lines within that story, and I found it absolutely fascinating, was that the late Queen didn't think that Meghan should wear a veil because the
Yeah,
late Queen is very traditional, or was very
right.
traditional when it came to marriage. And it wasn't that she was opposed to Harry marrying a divorcee, but she believed in the tradition. She didn't think that she should wear a veil on her wedding day. So I guess that was one of the first times that Meghan just completely ignored the advice of a woman that you would think you'd have quite a lot of respect for, right? If you
Right,
were
you would think
marrying
you
into the
would
royal family.
listen. Yeah, listen to the queen. I mean, if you really love this man, it's not about the veil, the dress. Do the recommend have just, I guess, mindful of what they're suggesting, or if the queen says that, then adhere to that. Come into the family trying to accommodate the wishes and, what they believe is the right thing to do. It just seemed like she was so entitled to do what she wants to do. And it wasn't about trying to come in with an easy transition into a new family and to make things a little bit more, cohesive and, hums and this is all good. We're doing this. Yes, of course, I'll get rid of the veil. Why not? She wanted to rebel. And I think that whole thing with, I mean, I won't get into all of that, but there was a lot of things, okay, that were a performance for this couple at this wedding.
Do you believe that she was subjected to any racism?
Absolutely not. Because why would she even be allowed to marry Harry if they were racist? If they were racist, do you think you would have even married this man? There is absolutely no doubt in my mind this woman has made that up. Because I always think that, if you are someone that has really experienced racism,
And let's be real, Meghan knows how to work the media. She's played the victim card before, and if there's a narrative she wants to push, she'll have all the footage to back it up. But here's the big question: does Harry have any leverage, or has he been outplayed at every step? What this means for Harry and the royal family. Think about what Harry has lost: his royal titles, his UK home, his family relationships, and now, potentially, his children.
you're not going to look at what she said is racist and think that's racist. Okay? Because Black people really do wonder about the things that they said happened around the color of the baby's skin. That is not racism. She wanted conflict, I believe, so that she could have her reasons for wanting to leave. And now she's in California picking up where she left off when she met Harry and came to England. It's just a continuation now with her handbag, her Harry handbag now. He's the accessory to her new life in
Yeah.
California.
So she got
That's how
exactly
I
what she
see it.
wanted.
Absolutely.
Because you
Absolutely.
know, my theory is that she realized quite early on, and I say theory by the way, but remember this was backed up by so much reporting. It's you know, I broke so many stories about them. I have a very good idea of what went on. But my theory is she had decided very early on that actually life in the royal family wasn't glamorous enough for her.
Hmm.
She
Right.
hated the size of the cottage at Kensington Palace. She hated the fact that she had to go out and do engagements up and down the country here in the UK, and she wasn't paid for them. She just couldn't believe that. So, quite quickly,
Right.
she realized, oh my goodness, I've got to find a way out.
Yes.
What's the narrative that can
What's
get
the
me
narrative?
out? And remember, there were some really critical moments, weren't there, where it was easy for her to blame something on racism because I never saw any racism. They bent over
Right.
backwards for this woman, P. Dina. I mean, right to the point where
Absolutely.
they said, yeah, if you want to keep going and be an actor, you can go and be an actor. They didn't even try
Yeah.
and stop that.
Yeah, she had the choice. A lot of things that Catherine didn't even get to do,
Yeah.
Meghan was allowed to do. And so, for all the people that say that, oh, yeah, they were racist, they're not seeing these little things that add up to how Meghan was treated so much. Was given so much more, I think, grace and acceptance to
Yes,
kind of
leeway.
bend the rules a little bit so that, she could ease into this. And Harry tried to warn her. He said during the interview, I tried to warn you about everything. And if she really wanted to stay, she would have toughed it out. She would have said, okay, these are some setbacks, some things I don't quite like. But, this is why I'm here. I knew in advance what this was going to be. And the racism was a way for her to get out and to leave and to blame everyone because this is a woman that has never really experienced racism. She looks like a white woman, excuse me, but she saw she
Well, yeah,
could get,
she
color
described herself
people.
as Caucasian when she was going for acting jobs in
Absolutely. She
Hollywood.
never thought of herself as a black woman. She even said people never really treated her like a black woman, the words of Meghan Markle. So how can you, and even to leave after just that, I mean, isn't that the reason why they left? Oh, they weren't supporting us. We left because of the negative headlines. I mean, those are so lame. I'm sorry. That's lame. Really, you want to give up a life of royalty for that reason? That right there tells me you're faking, you're frauds, you're just perpetrating. This is nonsense.
If a custody battle does happen, it could force Harry to stay in the US permanently, further isolating him from his royal roots. And what about the royal family? Would they step in to help him, or is Harry completely on his own? One thing's for sure, this could be the biggest fight of Harry's life.
And people need to really truly look at it to understand that they're running a game. And now this whole new sham of them starting another royal tour, going to Colombia now, I think, oh my goodness, it just never ends, like you said. It just never ends.
So, did you get pushback, P. Dina, when you
Mhm.
started criticizing Meghan? Did people say that you were a traitor because you're a woman of color and you should be supporting her? And not just a woman of color, you're an American woman of color, I guess. So people would maybe naturally think that you would be her ally rather than an ally of the royal family.
Get that. And I remember a friend of mine, like she literally hung up the phone on me. She was
No
so
way.
upset. It's like, this is trash what you're saying about Meghan. And it's like, well, would you allow Meghan to come into your house and to do what she's done, to the royal family, to your family? I don't care. I mean, I'm about your character, your attitude. I've built my whole foundation of my charity around your character. It's about who you are as a person that matters. And I don't care if I see a sister girl, a black woman, an American behaving poorly. It is my responsibility to call that out because that is what I do professionally around my work. And also, it's just the right thing to do. You don't judge people, based on their skin or try to have these lame reasons for, they did this to me or whatever. You don't certainly go out and speak about it on national television. These are things to be talked about behind palace walls. There's a lot to understand when you have a person of color come into your family. Let's just say if someone says something that was racist in the family, I would a lot of times give that person grace for understanding that did you know that would be considered racist, just hypothetically, because a lot of times you're dealing with people who are not really in these closed spaces with people who are of color, maybe socially, but when you have a family member that is in your family now, you could play a pivotal role in educating the family about racism and what is perceived to be racist, because you have a perspective as a person in a world very different than a royal person. So Meghan had a big responsibility to even educate and to bring a lot of understanding to people who would never have really known what it's like to have a person of color in their family.
What's next? Is Prince Harry heading for an international custody war? And if so, does he stand a chance? Pidina's revelations have sent shockwaves through the royal watching world. Harry's troubles are far from over. What do you think? Is Meghan gearing up for a legal battle? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This story is far from over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.